Years had passed since Eli Carter had synchronized with the ancient city at the heart of the ring. Humanity had changed, not through weapons, not through conquest, but through the lessons the structure had silently taught them. Travel across galaxies was now possible. Trade, communication, and exploration reached planets that were once unreachable, and all of it traced back to a promise made under a quiet Earth sky, a simple silver ring, and the trust between two children who believed in the stars. Lena Ward had risen in rank. She was now an admiral in the United Earth Space Command, respected across colonies and fleets. Her ship, the Starhawk, had become a flagship of exploration. Yet even as she commanded hundreds of crew members, she carried a quiet emptiness, a part of her heart that still belonged to the boy who had once promised her the stars. The silver ring hung around her neck on a delicate chain, always against her heart. It reminded her of a night long ago, a promise, and the boy who had kept it in ways she could never have imagined. On the anniversary of their first journey to the Ring City, Lena returned alone to the gateway system. The blue planet below shimmered softly, untouched by human hands except for their initial exploration. She gazed out from the observation deck at the glowing structures, remembering the city's heartbeat, the hum of energy, and the way the ring had responded to them. "Hello, Eli," she whispered, almost expecting him to appear beside her. For a moment, there was only silence. The stars reflected in her eyes, endless and mysterious. Then, faintly, the familiar hum returned, soft, melodic, like a distant memory. The energy patterns of the city pulsed, forming the same circular symbols she had seen years ago. She smiled, placing a hand over her chest. Back in the city, Eli's consciousness remained within the system. Though his physical body had not returned to humanity, his mind had merged with the city's energy network. He was aware of everything: the flow of energy through the towers, the movement of light through the streets, the pulse of life in the city that had once been silent. He could sense Lena's arrival instantly. Her emotions, her loyalty, her memories, all resonated with him across the expanse. For a moment he allowed himself to remember their childhood, the hill, the meteor shower, the silver ring, and the promise. It was strange to exist as pure consciousness, but it was also comforting. He could still see the stars, hear the hum of the universe, and feel the connection that had brought him here. "You made it, Lena," he thought. "We made it," she whispered aloud. The city's core shimmered as if acknowledging the reunion. Energy pathways shifted, forming patterns that reflected human forms. Two figures standing side by side, holding a single silver ring. Lena watched, stunned, as the glowing symbols pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. "Eli?" she asked softly, though she already knew. "I'm here." The voice came not through words, but through feeling, a resonance she could sense in her heart. The connection was immediate and intimate. Years of distance, silence, and unspoken thoughts dissolved. She realized that though time had passed and though their paths had diverged, the promise had endured. It had carried them across space and beyond the limits of the human body. Lena spent hours in the city, walking among the glowing streets. She explored the towers, touched the energy bridges, and felt the pulse of the city around her. Everywhere she went, she sensed Eli's presence, guiding her, steadying her, and sharing in her wonder. Dr. Miracade had once told them that the city fed on connection and hope. Lena now understood fully. The city had become a bridge not just for travel, but for humanity's understanding of itself. Eli appeared in her mind again, this time in a vision, a young boy and a girl standing under a night sky. The silver ring gleamed between them. He smiled. "Do you remember?" Lena's lips curved into a gentle smile. "I remember. I never forgot." The image faded, replaced by the glowing structures of the city, alive and vibrant, and the feeling of the bond that had never weakened. Meanwhile, humanity was expanding rapidly. Ships now traveled through the ring gateways, bringing explorers to distant systems and connecting colonies in ways that were once unimaginable. Communication signals traveled instantly across light years, and alien worlds were no longer unreachable. Every mission included a symbol of the ring in honor of Eli's work, a tribute to the promise that had unlocked the stars. People told stories of the two humans whose bond had activated the ancient city, inspiring new generations to believe that courage, hope, And loyalty could overcome even the impossible. Lena spent weeks exploring, studying and mapping the city's energy networks. One day she returned to the central plaza, the same place where she had first seen Eli's energy merge with the core. The floating ring hovered above the fountain, glowing softly. She held her hand over the silver ring around her neck, and for the first time in years she spoke aloud. "I kept the promise, Eli. I'll carry it for both of us." A pulse of energy shot through the city, gentle and warm as if acknowledging her words. The pathways of light expanded, revealing new routes for ships, unexplored systems, and potential worlds for humanity to reach. "You did it," Eli's presence whispered. "We did it," Lena replied. Over time, Lena returned to Earth only briefly, each visit filled with new responsibilities and new missions. Yet the city and the ring system remained her sanctuary. She knew that Eli existed there, guiding the systems, ensuring humanity's safe travel and watching over the connections between worlds. No one else could see him, yet his influence was everywhere. Ships that passed through the ring gateways moved smoothly. Communications were flawless, and explorers reported feelings of calm and safety. It was Eli's gift, not as a human, but as a witness to humanity's greatest potential. Years later, Lena stood once more in the plaza. The city glowed brighter than ever, a living reminder of what could be accomplished through trust, hope, and loyalty. She held the silver ring in her hand, looking at it against the light. "A promise made as a child," she whispered. The energy of the city responded, shimmering and pulsing in harmony, kept among the stars. Eli's presence resonated in her heart. She smiled, tears in her eyes, and placed the ring back around her neck. The city seemed to sigh, a quiet and happy pulse running through every street and tower. It was the sound of fulfillment, of promises kept, and of humanity's greatness. As she left the city to return to her ship, Lena looked back once more. The floating ring in the central plaza pulsed gently, glowing with warmth. Somewhere within it, Eli's consciousness lingered, a guardian and witness to the human spirit. She whispered again, this time with certainty, "We made it. The promise is ours forever." The stars above twinkled in response. Across countless light years, across endless systems, humanity had become greater, not because of power, but because of love, loyalty, and a promise kept. And somewhere in the heart of the ring city, a soft silver glow reminded the universe. Humanity's true strength was its heart. The night sky over Orion 7 shimmered with thousands of tiny stars. The colony world was quiet, resting after another long day of work in the silver fields that stretched beyond the horizon. The air was thin and cool, carrying the scent of metal dust and new life. Above the rocky cliffs near the colony dome, two children sat on a broken satellite dish, gazing into the endless sky. The boy's name was Eli Grant. He was 12, with messy hair and bright brown eyes that never seemed to stop searching. Next to him sat Lena Miles, a girl with curious blue eyes and a small smile that could light up the dark. They often came here after sunset, escaping the noise of the colony and dreaming about the stars. "Do you think humans will ever go beyond the frontier?" Lena asked, pointing to a bright band of light in the sky, the edge of known space. Eli didn't answer right away. He stared at the stars, imagining ships moving between them like sparks in the dark. "Yes," he said finally, with quiet confidence. "Someone will build a ship that can go farther than anyone ever has. Maybe it'll be me." Lena laughed softly. "You? You can barely fix your own comm tablet." Eli grinned. "That's because it's old. But one day I'll fix everything. I'll build a ship strong enough to reach every star. You'll see." Lena leaned closer, whispering as if telling a secret. "Then take me with you, okay?" Eli turned to her, surprised. Her eyes were serious now, not playful. "Promise?" she said. He nodded without hesitation. "Promise." She smiled and reached into her pocket, pulling out a thin metal ring. It was simple, made from a scrap of colony steel she had shaped into a circle. "Here," she said, placing it in his palm. "When you find me among the stars, give it back." Eli closed his fingers around it. "Then I'll keep it safe. No matter how far space goes, I'll find you again." The wind whispered around them, carrying their words up toward the endless sky. Neither of them knew then how much those simple words would mean one day. Years passed. The world of Orion 7 changed slowly, like metal rusting under starlight. The colony grew, but resources were fading. Communication with Earth became rare. The people began to lose hope that anyone still remembered them. Eli grew from a curious boy into a quiet young man, always covered in dust and grease. He worked in the colony's engineering bay, repairing old machines that no one else wanted to touch. While others spoke of survival, Eli dreamed of discovery. He never forgot the night under the stars or the girl who gave him the ring. One evening, after another long shift, Eli returned to the same cliff where he and Lena had once sat. The old satellite dish was still there, half buried in sand. He sat on it, watching the twin moons rise. The metal ring hung from a chain around his neck, always close to his heart. He spoke softly, as if she could hear him through the stars. "I'm still trying, Lena. I'll build it someday." When Eli was 21, life in the colony reached a breaking point. The energy cores that powered the protective domes began to fail. Crops struggled to grow in the harsh soil, and the oxygen generators often broke down. The colony's leaders announced that half of the population would have to relocate to another world, a planet called Haven Reach, several light years away. Lena's family was chosen to leave. Eli's was not. The night before her departure, she came to find him in the engineering bay. Her hair was tied back and her eyes were red from crying. "They said we'll leave at dawn," she said quietly. "The ship's called the Starseed. It's a one-way trip." Eli froze, holding a spanner in one hand. "So, you're really going?" She nodded. "They say it's safer there. More food, more oxygen, maybe a better life." Eli tried to smile but couldn't. "You'll forget about this place soon enough." She shook her head. "No, I'll remember. Especially you." Her voice trembled slightly. "When you build that ship of yours, you can come find me, right?" Eli looked down at the ring hanging from his neck. He unclipped it and placed it gently in her hand. "Not yet. I said I'd return it when we meet among the stars. So until then, you keep believing." Lena's eyes softened. "You really mean it, don't you?" He smiled faintly. "I always keep my promises." She held the ring tightly and whispered, "Then I'll wait." The next morning, Eli stood among the crowd as the Starseed lifted off, rising slowly into the pale sky. Its engines glowed bright blue before vanishing into the clouds. He didn't wave or call out. He just watched until the light was gone. For a long time after that, the colony seemed quieter. People carried on with their work, but something felt missing. Eli threw himself into his projects, repairing drones, salvaging wrecks, and studying old records from Earth's golden age of exploration. He became fascinated by FTL drives, the ancient human technology that allowed faster-than-light travel before the colonies lost the knowledge. Most thought it was impossible to rebuild one now. But Eli refused to believe that. He began collecting broken ship cores, melted circuits, and half-functioning parts from scrapyards. He spent nights in the hangar, sketching designs and testing ideas. He wasn't just trying to escape Arian 7. He was building hope, piece by piece. Whenever exhaustion hit him, he would touch the spot where the ring once hung and whisper, "Someday I'll find her. Someday I'll reach the stars." Time flowed like stardust. 10 years later, Eli had become one of the best engineers in the outer colonies. His name was known among traders and technicians as the builder of forgotten worlds. He could repair things others had given up on. Machines thought dead would hum again under his hands. Yet despite his success, he still lived simply, still visited the same cliff whenever the night was clear. It was on one such night that he received a transmission, faint, broken, and nearly lost among cosmic noise. The signal carried an old identification code. Haven Reach Explorer 07, Lena's colony. Eli's heart raced. He replayed the signal over and over until the computer stabilized the audio. It was short, only a few words spoken in a weak voice. "Emergency. Starseed, lost, near the ring. Please help." The message ended abruptly. No coordinates followed. Just static and silence. Eli sat in the dark, frozen. The stars above seemed to burn brighter, as if waiting for his decision. He whispered, "The ring." He had heard stories about it. An ancient structure beyond charted space, a place no ship returned from. Most people believed it was a myth, a ghost from a forgotten era. But now it was the only clue he had. Eli stood up, determination burning in his eyes. He looked toward the sky. clutching his old notebook full of ship designs. "You kept waiting," he said quietly. "Now it's my turn to keep my promise." In the days that followed, Eli began to prepare. He took leave from his station job, gathered parts, and returned to his hidden workshop deep within the cliffs. There, under dim light and constant dust, he started building a new ship, one unlike anything before. He named it Dawnspire. The design combined human craftsmanship with fragments of alien technology recovered from derelict wrecks. Every piece he welded, every circuit he repaired carried the same purpose: to reach the stars and find the one he promised. It took him 2 long years to finish. And when he finally stepped inside the cockpit, the stars reflected on his visor like a million waiting dreams. He placed a small hollow photo of Lena beside the control panel, the one taken when they were children. Eli smiled faintly and whispered, "I'm coming, Lena. No matter where the ring is, I'll find it. I'll find you." The engines of the Dawnspire roared to life, lighting up the cliffside with a glow like sunrise. As the ship lifted off, the dust swirled below and the colony lights faded behind him. Ahead lay only the dark and the endless promise that had begun with innocent words beneath the stars. The ship Dawnspire moved quietly through space, its silver wings reflecting the light of distant suns. Inside, Eli Grant sat in the pilot seat, watching the endless stars ahead. It had been 2 weeks since he left Orion 7. Behind him lay everything he had ever known: the colony, the people, the familiar ground beneath his feet. Ahead was the unknown, a journey toward a place many believed was only a story: the Ring of Silence. Eli didn't care what people believed. All he cared about was the promise. Somewhere out there, Lena was waiting, and he would find her no matter how far he had to go. The Dawnspire was not an ordinary ship. It was small but powerful, designed by Eli himself. Every part of it told a story. The hull was made from the remains of old Earth ships, the energy core powered by a blend of human and alien systems. The navigation AI named Solus had a calm, human-like voice that often spoke when Eli grew too quiet. "Course stable," Solus said softly. "Destination Outer Frontier. Estimated time to arrival 12 days. Eli nodded, his eyes fixed on the glowing map. "Keep monitoring for any trace of Haven Reach signals." "Understood," Solus replied. "Eli, may I ask a question?" He smiled faintly. "You're an AI, you can ask anything. Why risk everything for one person?" Solus asked. "Your records show low success probability. Statistically, the mission has only a 3.7% chance of recovery." Eli leaned back, folding his arms. "Because numbers don't understand promises," he said simply. "And because she waited." The AI paused, as if thinking. "You humans are strange," it said finally. Eli chuckled. "That's what makes us human." Days passed. Eli spent most of his time working on maintenance, checking systems, and reviewing old data logs. Between tasks, he often stared at the small hollow photo of Lena on the control panel. She was smiling, holding a paper star they once made together when they were kids. He remembered her laugh, her voice, and the way she looked up at the sky with hope. It had been many years, but to him, it still felt like yesterday. Sometimes when he closed his eyes, he could still hear her voice whispering, "Promise me you'll find me among the stars." He whispered back, "I will." Halfway through the journey, the ship passed through an area filled with wreckage, pieces of metal drifting slowly through the blackness. The sensors identified them as parts of old trading ships and cargo transports. It was a ship graveyard, silent and endless. Eli slowed the Dawnspire and looked closer. Some of the hull fragments had strange marks, long curved symbols that didn't match any known alien language. They looked like carvings, almost like someone had written them by hand. "What is this, Solus?" Eli asked. "Unknown," the AI replied. "Scans suggest these marks are extremely old. Possibly thousands of years," Eli frowned. "Could this be near the ring's territory?" "Possibly," Solus said. "Caution is advised." Eli nodded but didn't stop. The strange marks only made him more curious. He knew that humans had reached far, but there were still mysteries in the stars. Ancient things left behind by races long gone. Maybe one of them knew the secret of the ring. He moved through the field carefully, scanning for anything useful. Then his radar beeped, a faint power reading coming from one of the larger wrecks. It was an old alien probe, broken and half buried in debris. Eli brought the ship closer and docked. He floated into the wreck, his boots touching the cold metal floor. The air was thin and the walls were covered with strange writing, the same curved symbols as before. But in the center of the room was something else, a small glowing cube, still active after all these years. When he touched it, a holographic projection appeared, a circular image showing what looked like a giant ring floating around a dark star. The same shape that haunted every legend, the Ring of Silence. Eli's heart raced. So it's real, he whispered. He took a data copy of the image and returned to his ship. The moment he placed the cube on the console, Solus spoke again. Eli, this confirms the existence of the ring, but entering its region is considered a no-return zone by every recorded fleet. I know, Eli said, but someone went there, Lena's ship, and I'm not turning back. 2 days later, something unexpected happened. The ship's sensors picked up a weak distress signal. It was old, nearly buried under cosmic noise, but Solus managed to filter it. The signal carried the same ID code. Haven Reach Explorer 07. Eli's hands tightened on the controls. That's her ship. He replayed the signal. It was broken, but he could hear faint words. Help. Trapped. Light. Ring. Then silence again. Solus ran the data. Signal source located at the edge of the Varnus belt. Distance approximately 1 light day. Eli set the new course immediately. Let's go. As the Dawn Spire jumped through hyperspace, Eli felt both excitement and fear. The signal confirmed Lena's ship had reached the ring's area, but it also meant something had gone wrong. He tried not to imagine the worst. Instead, he focused on the promise. He whispered to himself, "You said to find you among the stars." "I'm coming, Lena." The Varnus belt was not like any region he had seen before. It was filled with massive ice-covered rocks and glowing clouds of dust that reflected strange lights. The deeper he went, the more the ship's systems began to act strangely. Compasses spun and sensors gave false readings. "Solus," Eli said, frowning at the flickering monitors. "What's happening?" "Unknown gravitational interference detected," the AI replied. "Space-time distortion increasing." Suddenly the screen flashed. Ahead of the ship, a faint circular light appeared, huge, majestic, and silent. It wasn't like a planet or a star. It was a structure, a ring of glowing metal orbiting a dead sun. The Ring of Silence. Eli felt his heart stop for a moment. The stories were true. The ring existed, and it was bigger than he ever imagined. It stretched for hundreds of kilometers, glowing with an otherworldly light. Symbols like the ones he saw on the wreck drifted across its surface, shifting and rearranging like living text. "Solus," Eli whispered. "Begin full scan." The AI's voice trembled slightly, almost as if it felt fear. "Scanning. Results inconclusive. The material is unknown. Power levels exceed measurable range." "Any signs of Lena's ship?" "Faint traces of human technology detected within the ring's orbit," Solus answered. "Possibly the remains of Haven Reach Explorer 07. Eli's chest tightened. "Then she's there." He took a deep breath. "Prepare to enter orbit." The Dawn Spire moved closer to the ring. As it passed the outer edge, a wave of energy rippled across the hull. Lights flickered, alarms buzzed, and the entire ship shook. Eli gripped the controls tightly. "Solus, status. System stable. But we are being scanned," the AI reported. "Unknown energy is interacting with our systems." Eli looked out the window. The ring's surface glowed brighter, and strange patterns began to form. Spirals of light that seemed to react to his ship's movement. It was as if the structure was watching him. He whispered, "What are you?" Then something amazing happened. The ship's console lit up, displaying words not in any known language. Yet somehow Eli could read them. Human detected. Emotional signature recognized. He blinked, confused. "Solus, did you translate that?" "No," the AI said quietly. "The message appeared directly in your neural interface." Eli's heart pounded. "It's communicating with me." Before he could say more, a new message appeared. "Do you seek what was lost?" He swallowed hard and whispered, "Yes. I seek someone I promised to find." For a moment, everything was silent. Then the lights on the ring shifted again, forming a path. A corridor of glowing energy leading toward the center. Eli's voice was soft but steady. "Looks like it's inviting us in." Solus hesitated. "Eli, this could be a trap." "Maybe," Eli said, tightening his grip on the controls. "But if she's inside, then that's where I need to go." The Dawn Spire followed the path of light, entering the glowing corridor. Behind him, the stars faded. Ahead, the unknown waited, quiet, massive, and full of secrets that no human had ever touched. Eli glanced at Lena's photo one last time and whispered, "Hold on. I'm coming." And as his ship disappeared inside the glowing ring, a soft hum filled the air, deep and ancient, like the voice of the universe awakening. Inside the glowing corridor of the Ring of Silence, the ship Dawnspire moved slowly, surrounded by shimmering walls of light. The space around Eli Grant was silent but not empty. Patterns of glowing symbols drifted through the air like gentle waves, changing color every few seconds. It was as if the ring was alive and listening, watching, waiting. Eli sat at the control seat, eyes wide with wonder. "Solus," he said softly, "are you recording all this?" "Yes," the AI replied calmly. "But I cannot explain it. The energy readings change every second. The structure is responding to us, but not through logic or code. It reacts more like emotion." Eli looked out at the moving lights. "Emotion?" he repeated. "That doesn't make sense." "Correct," Solus said. "And yet it is happening." Eli took a deep breath and focused on the controls. He had never seen anything so strange in his life. It was beautiful, but it also made him feel small, like standing in front of something ancient and far beyond human understanding. Still, deep inside, he felt calm. Somehow he sensed that the ring wasn't hostile. It was curious. As the ship drifted forward, the corridor widened into a massive chamber. In the center floated a sphere of golden light surrounded by floating debris, broken pieces of ships, both human and alien. Some looked thousands of years old, others newer. Among them, Eli saw a familiar symbol, the Haven Reach emblem. His heart raced. "Solus, zoom in on that." The screen magnified the image. There it was, the side hull of Lena's ship, the Explorers 07. It was damaged, torn apart, but still recognizable. "She made it here," Eli whispered. "She really made it," Solus's voice lowered. "There are faint energy signatures coming from the wreck. Life signs are minimal, but not zero." Eli's eyes widened. "You mean someone could still be alive?" "Possibly," Solus replied. "However, the environment inside the ring is unstable. Attempting a direct approach could be dangerous." Eli gripped the control stick tightly. "Dangerous doesn't matter. She's there." The Dawnspire moved closer to the remains of the Explorer 07. The debris floated like frozen snow in space, turning slowly around the glowing sphere. When Eli reached visual range, he could see the ship's name faintly painted across the hull. A crack ran down the middle and most of its power systems were dead. He activated the magnetic clamps and connected his ship to the wreck. The moment his boots touched the old metal floor, a deep echo traveled through the hull. The air was cold, still, and filled with drifting dust. He switched on his helmet light and walked carefully through the corridor. The ship looked as if it had been frozen in time. Tools lay on the ground, papers floated weightlessly, and the walls glowed faintly with strange light, the same energy that filled the ring. "Solus, can you hear me?" he asked. "Connection stable," the AI answered in his ear. "I am monitoring your vital signs. Be careful, Eli." Eli nodded and moved toward the main chamber. The door was half open, bent by some unseen force. He pushed it aside and stepped in, and then he stopped. In the center of the room, inside a transparent pod, lay Lena. Her face was pale but peaceful, her hair floating gently in the low gravity. The pod screen showed a weak heartbeat signal, slow but still there. Eli froze in disbelief. "Lena," he whispered, his voice shaking. He moved closer, touching the surface of the pod. It was cold but still functioning. Her body was in stasis, preserved by the ship's emergency system. The ring's strange energy had kept it alive for years, maybe decades. "After all this time," Eli said softly, "you're still here." He began working quickly. "Solus, I need a power transfer. Connect the Dawnspire's auxiliary line to her pod." "Understood," Solus replied. "Warning, the ring's energy field is unstable. External interference may occur. I don't care. Do it." As he connected the cable, the lights around him flickered. The walls glowed brighter and the entire chamber began to hum, a deep rhythmic vibration that felt almost like a heartbeat. Eli looked around, confused. "Solus, what's happening?" "The ring's energy signature is increasing," the AI said. "It's responding to your actions." "To you? To me?" Eli said, surprised. "Why?" Before Solus could answer, the ship's walls came alive with light. Symbols appeared everywhere, floating, glowing, rearranging into patterns. Then across his helmet display a message appeared, written in soft golden text. Promise detected. Eli's breath caught. Promise? He repeated. Another line appeared. Emotional memory resonance. Strong. Human intent. Pure. Access granted. Suddenly, the floor beneath him glowed and beams of light surrounded Lena's pod. The ring began to hum louder, the sound deep and almost musical. The lights pulsed with his heartbeat. Eli watched in awe as the pod systems came alive. The monitors turned green, oxygen levels stabilized, and the heartbeat signal grew stronger. It's helping her, Eli whispered. It's keeping my promise. Outside, the Dawnspire shook violently. Energy waves from the ring rippled across its surface, and the AI's voice broke through the noise. Eli, the structure is changing. Power levels are surging. We need to retreat. Eli ignored the warning. He stayed beside Lena's pod, watching her chest rise slightly as she took a faint breath for the first time in years. His eyes filled with tears. You see? He whispered. I told you I'd find you. The lights responded again, forming words across the air. Promise fulfilled. Human truth acknowledged. Then for the first time the ring spoke, not through text but through sound. A deep, calm voice filled the room, echoing from every direction. Human, your kind is unique. Others sought power. You sought connection. Your heart has awakened what we once lost. Eli turned slowly, looking around in awe. Who are you? We were the builders, the voice said. We made this ring to test those who came after us. Civilizations rose and fell, chasing strength and control. None understood what truly endures. The light around Lena glowed brighter. You humans are different. You remember promises. You act not for gain, but for love and loyalty. That is your strength. Eli listened silent, overwhelmed by the moment. The air shimmered as the ring's core began to form a new shape, a massive bridge of light stretching outward into space. The voice continued. Your heart has unlocked the ring's final purpose. Not destruction, but connection. Through your promise, humanity shall find new paths among the stars. The ship trembled again. Solus, Eli shouted. Status. The energy field is stabilizing, the AI replied. But the ring is reconfiguring. It's forming a stable wormhole, a bridge between galaxies. Eli's eyes widened. It's opening a way home. Or to somewhere new, Solus said. Eli turned back to Lena's pod. Her eyes fluttered slightly and her lips moved. He leaned closer, holding her hand. She whispered faintly. Eli? He smiled through tears. Hey, you've been sleeping for a long time. Her voice was weak but full of warmth. You came, just like you promised? Of course, he said softly. I told you, I'd find you. As the light from the ring filled the chamber, the voice spoke one last time. Human, your promise has restored the bridge. Carry it forward. Remember, it is not power that makes you strong. It is the will to keep your word. Then the voice faded, leaving only a calm silence. The lights dimmed and the hum softened into a gentle rhythm, like a heartbeat slowly resting. Eli looked at Lena and smiled. We did it, he said quietly. We really did. Back aboard the Dawnspire, he carefully placed Lena in the ship's medical bay. Outside the window, the glowing bridge stretched across the stars, a path made of pure light leading to unknown worlds. Solus's voice returned, gentle as ever. Eli, where shall I set the course? Eli looked at the shining corridor ahead. Home, he said first. Then he smiled and added, and after that, anywhere the stars take us. The engines roared softly, and the Dawnspire moved forward into the golden light. Behind them, the ring of silence rotated slowly, now glowing brighter than ever, no longer silent, but singing a quiet song of hope. For the first time in many centuries, the ancient structure had found what it was waiting for, a promise kept by the heart of a human being. The Dawnspire moved slowly through the golden corridor formed by the ring of silence. The light stretched ahead like a river of stars, leading Eli and Lena toward the unknown. Lena was awake now, wrapped in a warm blanket, her eyes blinking as if seeing sunlight for the first time in years. Her voice was soft but steady. I dreamed of you, she whispered. I thought I would never see you again. Eli smiled, brushing her hair gently from her forehead. I promised, he said simply. And promises are meant to be kept. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I waited, Even when I didn't know if anyone would come. Eli took her hand. You gave me something to hold on to, he said. Even when everything else was lost, I had you. And that was enough. The ring outside continued to hum, its light pulsing gently in rhythm with the ship's engines. Eli knew the bridge they were traveling on was not just a path through space. It was a gift, something ancient and something very rare. The builders of the ring had left it as a test, a challenge to any who might follow the stars. Eli could feel it watching, learning, understanding. Unlike other machines or structures, it didn't respond to commands. It responded to thought, to emotion, to the human heart. Solus, the AI, spoke in its calm, measured tone. Eli, the readings are unusual. The ring is more than a passageway. It appears to archive memories, both human and alien. Eli frowned. Archive memories? Yes, Solus replied. The energy field contains images, sounds, and emotional imprints. It seems to record significant actions from the past, moments of courage, hope, and loyalty. Eli nodded slowly. So, it remembers us? In a way, Solus said. And it reacts to those it finds meaningful. As the Dawnspire moved deeper into the corridor, the walls shimmered with new images. Eli could see them clearly now, ghostly projections of humanity's past. There were explorers charting unknown worlds, inventors building the first starships, and settlers surviving on harsh planets. Each projection glowed softly as if the ring honored their deeds. It's beautiful, Lena whispered. It remembers everything humans have done. Eli's eyes scanned the images, not just what we've done. It's like it understands why we did it. Hope, dreams, promises. Solus said, You are correct, Eli. The ring seems to measure the emotional impact of actions, not the technical success. It values persistence, loyalty, and belief, qualities humans possess strongly. Eli looked at Lena and smiled faintly. So maybe it's no surprise it responded to me. Suddenly the lights shifted. The golden glow of the corridor condensed into a single chamber ahead. The Dawnspire entered carefully. Inside was a massive sphere of energy, surrounded by smaller floating orbs that looked like miniature planets. Each one contained scenes, frozen moments from distant worlds and lost civilizations. Eli's heart raced. These are all the civilizations, the ring observed. He whispered. Solus nodded. Some are extinct. Others vanished without a trace. It appears the ring's builders hoped to preserve knowledge, but few understood how to access it. Eli walked slowly toward the center of the chamber. Each step made the energy hum, resonating with his presence. He felt a strange warmth in his chest. The ring was alive, not in the sense of mind or intelligence, but in the sense of awareness. It responded to truth, and truth in this case meant a human keeping a promise. At the very center, he found an orb glowing brighter than the rest. Inside it, he saw Lena's pod from the Explorer 07, the exact moment it had been preserved by the ship's emergency systems. It's keeping her safe, he whispered. The ring. It helped her survive, Solus said softly. Yes, the ring may have detected your emotional connection and chosen to preserve her as part of its record. Eli knelt beside the orb, touching the light with his hands. It was cool but pulsing like a heartbeat. I can't believe it understood. It knew what was important. Time seemed to slow. Eli and Lena explored the chamber together, touching the smaller orbs, seeing glimpses of humanity's achievements and losses. There were cities built on barren planets, ships traveling beyond known galaxies, and children looking at stars just like they once did. The ring had captured the best of human courage and curiosity, a record of what made humans extraordinary. I never realized how much humans have done, Lena said, her eyes wide. Even when others fail, we keep trying, Eli nodded. That's what the ring saw in me, I think. And it kept you alive because of that. It respected our promise. They moved closer to the center orb again. Eli could feel the energy building around them. The ring had something to show, something that humans were meant to learn. The walls shimmered and a soft voice echoed in the chamber. You humans are unique, the voice said. You seek connection, not conquest. You honor promises, not power. That is why you endure. Eli swallowed. It's telling us that our choices matter, he said. Yes, Lena said softly. Even small things, like promises, hope, trust, they can change everything. Then the ring pulsed with light. The smaller orbs shifted and merged, forming a glowing pathway leading outward. A bridge that extended beyond the ring, into a distant galaxy. It was wide enough for the Dawnspire and other ships to follow safely. This is a bridge, Eli whispered. The ring is showing us a path to other worlds. Solus analyzed the energy field. It appears stable. This could allow safe passage to distant star systems. Only those recognized as worthy by the ring may use it. Lena held Eli's hand. You did it, she said softly. You kept your promise and the ring. It listened. Eli smiled, feeling a wave of relief and pride. We did it together, he said. Without hope, none of this would exist. But there was still work to be done. Lena's pod needed transport back to the Dawnspire. Eli carefully disconnected the pod from the ring's preservation system. The energy pulsed around them as if the ring were watching every movement. The pod's support systems remained stable, thanks to the ring's final blessing. Careful, Solus warned. The energy field is fluctuating. Eli nodded, adjusting the controls. Step by step, he moved the pod toward the Dawnspire's docking bay. Lena watched quietly, her hand on his arm for support. When the pod finally touched the ship's floor, the ring's light dimmed slightly as if satisfied. The voice spoke one last time, promise fulfilled, knowledge preserved. Bridge activated. Carry humanity forward, then silence. Eli exhaled deeply. It's done, the ring. It trusts us, Lena smiled weakly. And we can take it with us, wherever we go. Back in the cockpit, Eli plotted the first course using the bridge. The path led into a galaxy far beyond known maps. Uncharted worlds, alien stars, and potential discoveries waiting for humans to explore. For the first time, he understood the ring's real gift. It was not just a test, but a door to a future only humans could reach. Solus spoke softly. Eli, this could be humanity's greatest opportunity. With the ring's guidance, humans can explore the universe in ways never imagined. Eli looked at Lena, her eyes reflecting the golden glow from the bridge. We have to be careful, but yes. This is just the beginning. Our promise led us here now. We take the next step. Before leaving the ring, Eli looked out the window one last time. The massive structure rotated slowly, its golden lights fading into the background. It had preserved the past, acknowledged the present, and offered a path to the future. I hope everyone back home understands, Eli whispered. We're small, but maybe what we do matters. Lena held his hand, smiling. It already does, she said. And so will our journey ahead. The Dawnspire accelerated along the Golden Bridge, moving beyond the Ring of Silence, carrying not only two humans who had kept a promise, but also the spirit of humanity, hope, courage, and belief in what is right, even across the vast emptiness of space. For the first time, Eli felt the weight of their journey and the true power of a simple promise made beneath the stars.